All right. Now for this, right, what we want to make sure is whenever we give this data to a machine learning program, this data should be in right format. Now in this, I can see that there are a couple of places where data is actually missing. Plus there is one data which is purely in text format. Our computer or machine learning code, right, it does not understand text data, correct? So therefore we have to convert this text data into numerical and then give it to machine learning program. So all of these steps we are going to do it in data pre-processing. In data pre-processing, the first step which we are doing is we are reading the data, and to read the data, right, we are taking the help of pandas library. So that's import pandas as PD. Then we read the data in a variable. Let's call that variable as dataset. So we say dataset is equal to pd.read underscore CSV. Since we are having our dataset in CSV file, that's why we are using this function called read underscore CSV. To this function, we need to pass the name of the file. So name of our CSV file is data.csv, right? So we'll pass here data.csv. Done. After doing this, we need to divide our data in two parts. What is this two parts? X and Y. X is independent set, Y is dependent set. X is actually an input and Y is an output. They say in this case, right, we want to predict whether a person will buy an item or not. Therefore, purchase columns becomes a Y. And how are we going to predict? We are going to predict it with the help of country, age, and salary. Using these three columns, we need to predict column Y, that is purchase column, right? So therefore, country, age, and salary automatically becomes X. So therefore, we write the code in this fashion. X is equal to dataset dot I location square bracket dot values. Now we are going to divide it into two parts using comma. So comma, left hand side of comma is row, right hand side of comma is columns. We need to read all the rows, and from column we are going to read from column number index 0, 1 and 2. Therefore we write it in this fashion 0:3. Remember 3 is exclusive. I hope you guys remember this, right? Can you please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Sure, what's happening? I'm not able to get the chat window. Can you guys please confirm if you have understood till this point, right? Yeah, thanks. Let's move ahead. So we have read the data now in our variable X from column index 0 till column index 2. Now next, output Y is equal to dataset dot I location square bracket dot values. We divide it into two parts. Left hand side is rows, right hand side is columns. We need to read all rows, and from column we need to read starting from 3 till 4. Now we don't have column index 4, but that's fine because according to the syntax 4 is exclusive. Done. So this was our first step. There we have read the data and we have divided the data in two parts. That is input and output, dependent variable and independent variable, X and Y. Now next is to handle the missing data. For handling missing data, we are taking the help of imputer class. So we include imputer class with the syntax from sklearn.preprocessing. Right? Import imputer. Then we create the object of imputer. So we say imputer is equal to imputer. That if you remember, we have three steps whenever we are going to use any library from sklearn.preprocessing, right? We have three steps. First step is create the object. Second step is fit. So we'll say imputer.fit. We want to fit means identify in this case, right? Fit means identify. Now we want to identify the missing values. So where are the missing values? They are in column index 1 and 2. So I will write here all rows colon and column index 1 till 2. Is this clear, everyone? Can someone please confirm it on the chat window? Yeah, perfect. Let's move ahead. Right. So we have created the object, we have fit the method, and last one is what? Imputer dot transform. So in transform, again we'll say x, all rows, column from 1 till 3. Right? And we need to assign this back to original variable. Why? Because fit and transform works on a separate copy. I hope everybody remembers this, right? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Fit and transform works on separate copy. All right. Now, can someone please tell me what's the next step after the imputer? Anyone? Correct. Label encode. Right? Why we need to do label encoding? Can you please tell me that? Correct. To handle categorical data. Right? And again, similar steps. First, we need to import it. So from sklearn dot pre-processing, import what? Label encoder. Then again, those 3 steps. First is create the object. Second step, fit. And third step, transform. Let us quickly do that. So LE is equal to label encoder. Then LE dot fit. We want to do it for variable X. Right? All rows and index 0. We'll write it till 1. 1 is exclusive. Remember that. And finally, transform. So if for transforming, we say X, all rows, but column index 0. Now, why we need to put here only column index 0? That's because the output of label encoder is a single dimension array. Then I'll say LP dot transform. Label encoding dot transform. X, all rows, 0:1. Done. Now, what's the next step? After label encoding, what are we going to do?
One-hot encoding if needed.
Yes, one-hot encoding if needed. Why do we need to do one-hot encoding? Anyone? Why do we need to do one-hot encoding? That's right, to remove the comparison, right? So whenever we do label encoding, right, it converts text to numbers. And as soon as it converts text to numbers, we'll start comparing whether one is greater than another, right? Before converting text to numbers, we were not comparing those data, right? Like for example, in this case, let me first run my program till this point. Select, Control Enter. I'll go to Variable Explorer. So when we convert this text to numbers, right? All of a sudden the comparison kick in. Before converting, there is no way, that means there was no context, right? We have to say whether France is greater than Spain or Germany is greater than Spain. There's no context here. But as soon as we convert this into the numbers, right? Because of the numbering system, the comparison kicks in, right? And remember, whenever we are doing data pre-processing, we should not change the meaning. We can change the representation, but we should not change the meaning of the data. In this case, when we are doing label encoding, we are not only changing the representation, but also the meaning is getting changed. And that's the reason we have to use here one-hot encoding. Run my program till this point. Select, control enter, variable x. Done. Now we'll do one-hot encoding. So again, steps are similar. Import the library, create the object, fit and transform. So from sklearn dot pre-processing, import one-hot encoder. Then create the object. So I'll say OHE, that is one-hot encoder, is equal to one-hot encoder. Now here, right from the beginning, we need to tell one-hot encoder that we are going to apply it on a specific column. So we need to mention here the column index. Unlike label encoder or imputer, right? We never mentioned on which column we are going to perform before the fit statement. Right, before the fit statement or while creating the object, we did not inform that we are going to apply it on a specific column, let's say column index 0 or column index 1. That we are not doing it. We are mentioning it only in the fit statement, right, in case of imputer and label encoder. But in case of one-hot encoder, we need to inform that right in advance, and for that we need to override the categorical feature, categorical underscore features, and we'll say we need to apply it for column index 0. Also, we are going to turn off the sparse matrix. So I'll say sparse is equal to false. We want an output in a proper array format, right? We don't want it in sparse matrix. Therefore, we'll say sparse is equal to false. After this, we'll apply fit method. So I'll say one-hot encoding dot fit on x. Now here, no need to pass x of 0. Reason, we have already informed that we are going to apply it on 0 index. So there's no need to pass a specific index to variable x. And then we can say x is equal to one-hot encoding dot transform entire x. Let us quickly execute this. Select, run. I think I made a mistake of spelling here. Comma. Let me execute it one more time. Done. And you can see your variable x now has got converted from object to float, and you can see all the numbers now. Now, can you please tell me what is the next step after this? Derek, by default, the imputer treats NaN as not a number, right? Therefore, it will find NaN only. So even if you don't mention here in the imputer statement that missing value is identified using NaN, this will work because by default imputer treats NaN as a missing value. Does this answer your question, Derek?
Yes, sir.
Derek, can you confirm if that answers your question?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. Next step, yes, rightly pointed out by Amma and Maithili. Next is feature scaling. So let us quickly perform the feature scaling. Why we need to do feature scaling? Anyone? Why we need to do feature scaling? To bring it to same unit. I got only one answer from Maithili. What about others? Derek is saying to get a range. Okay, what about others? Am I saying same level? What about Ashu? I think we have Ashu as well on the call, right? Ashu, why we need to do feature scaling? Right. So Derek, will you please elaborate what do you mean by to get a range?
Sir, can I chat from here?
Yes, yes.
Sir, range, what I mean to say is, sir, when we do feature scaling, our the numbers, the categories, it will change to some values like minus 0.51, like that, between 1 to -1. Yeah, it depends.
Okay, I see. So the right way of saying that is to bring all the attributes at the same level. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Right, as most of you have pointed out correctly, or at least you were thinking in the right direction, right? We need to do feature scaling to bring all of them at the same level. And for that, we'll be using standard scaler, right? But before going to standard scaler, I want to bring you one thing in front of you. So see here, this is my data set. All right. Let's assume this column index 0 is country called as Germany, right? Column index 0, I'm assuming country is Germany. Column 1 is say France, and column index 2 is, let's say, Spain. All right. Are you guys with me? I am assuming column 0 is Germany. In fact, let us use the correct labels rather than assuming it. Let's say I want to know what this column index 0 is. Okay, I want to know what this column index 0 is. So what I will do is I will type here OHE. All right. OHE has one, no, not OHE, it's label encoder. Okay, because we got zeros and ones from label encoder, right? No, not zeros and one, 0, 1 and 2. These unique mappings, we got it with the help of label encoder. So label encoder has something called as classes. So if you simply do help on label encoder variable, let me close this. See here what I did, I went to the IPython console, and in the IPython console, I just simply typed help, and inside help, I am passing label encoder object, the same object that we created at line number 22. And if you scroll up, you'll find we have something called as classes underscore, right? So now let's type le dot classes underscore, and you can see 0 index is for France, first index is for Germany, and 2 index is for Spain. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? What I have done here is I have identified what are the unique values, right, or the unique numbers given to each text. Right, so that is with the help of a property called as classes underscore. Where is this property available? It is available with label encoder. All right, so let's go back to data set again, or let me double click X value. All right, so here 0 means France. This column indicates France. This column indicates Germany, and this column indicates Spain. Now tell me, if I don't show you this, let me just copy it from here. Control C. See, I'm not copying index 0, okay? Go to this file. So this column is index 1. Index 1 is for what? Which country? Germany. Then Spain. So I'll write here Germany, Spain, age, salary. All right. Now, if I'm saying Germany is absent, Spain is absent, इसका meaning क्या हुआ? France is present. Do you guys agree with me on this? When we are saying Germany 0, Spain 0, what does this indicate? It means France is 1. Can you please confirm it on the chat window? I see just only one confirmation from Maithili. What about others? Thanks Ashu, Derek, am I? Correct. So similarly, when we say Germany 0, if you take the row number 3, Germany 0, Spain 1. What does it mean? It means France is 0. You guys agree with me on this? Perfect. So the point I'm trying to make you realize here is, after applying one-hot encoding, there is a duplication in our data. All right. Why there is a duplication? Because when we apply one-hot encoding, after applying one-hot encoding, we don't need all n columns. We only need n minus 1 columns. Right? And again here, the number of columns n here is the number of unique text that we have converted into the numbers. Right? So it's okay even if we don't have France column, the meaning of the data is still the same, right? So if we add a France column, then unnecessarily we are adding a little bit of duplication here. Is it clear, everyone? What are we doing here is, if we include all the n columns, then there is a duplication. So we are going to ignore one column. This is clear, everyone? What are we going to do here is, we are going to ignore one column. I just see only 3 response. What about others? Direct? Perfect. So let's see how to do that. So in our code, we will say x is equal to x, all rows of x, but starting from index 1 for the columns till the end. Is this syntax clear? Line number 36. Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, guys? I just see one response. What about others? Is this syntax clear? See, what I'm doing is, I am saying new x is equal to old x ka all the rows, and from old x, start from column index 1. Do not consider column index 0. From 1, go till the end. So when you don't mention anything at the right hand side of the colon, it will always go till the end. Is this clear, everyone? I just see response from Derek, Amay, Ashu. What about others? Perfect. This process is called as dummy value trap. Right? This process is called avoiding dummy value trap. Is this clear, everyone? What is avoiding dummy value trap? Dummy value trap, right? In order to avoid it, we ignore one column from the n columns that were newly added because of one-hot encoding. And why we are ignoring it? Because there is a duplication. So here line number 36 is nothing but avoiding dummy value trap. And after this, we are going to perform feature scaling. So feature scaling mein, we are trying to bring all the values at the same level, right? So let me first execute this. So before executing this, you can see there are 5 columns, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So total 5 columns. From this, we are going to ignore the 0th index. So I'll execute line number 36 now. Done. And now you can see now X is having only 4 columns. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Again, remember, by avoiding this or by removing this one column, we are not changing the meaning of the data. We are only changing the representation. Next, we will do feature scaling. So from sklearn dot, can you help me here? Sklearn dot. Guys, which is the library? Can you quickly tell me? Sklearn dot for feature scaling. Right. Yes, Maithili, it's always one column. If you remove two columns, then you are going to change the meaning of the data. So let me show you to here. So if I remove this Germany as well, then just with this, I'm not sure whether Germany is present or France is present here. When Spain is 1, I can say Germany and France are absent. But when Spain is 0, we are not sure which country is available here, Germany or France, right? So that's why we only ignore one column. Does that answer the question, Maithili? Yes, it's compulsory to do so. If you don't do it, you are going to get wrong result. Why? That's because of the duplicate values. So instead of saying compulsory, it's better to avoid it. Otherwise, it will affect your last performance of the machine learning model if you don't remove it. All right. I hope everybody are clear till this point. Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, guys? What about others? Perfect. So let's move on. Now, feature scaling. So sklearn dot pre-processing import standard scaler. Then again, similar 3 steps: create the object, fit the model, and transform. So I'll say sc is equal to standard scaler, sc dot fit x, and then finally x is equal to sc dot transform. Let me save this file. All right. So let me execute this. Oh, sorry. Transform. I have to pass here variable x. My bad. So I'm selecting it and I'm running the program. Select, run. And now you can see the variable x, all the attributes are having now same base. They are having same unit base. They are at the same level. Now your data is ready for machine learning. I hope we covered till this point, right? This is the point where we stopped last time. Can you quickly confirm it? Perfect. So now in today's session, we are starting with our first machine learning program. All right. In our today's session, we are starting with our first machine learning program. So first, let me show you the data. Then I will explain you the problem statement, and then we'll try to solve that. So we are starting with the concept of regression. All right. What are we starting is with the concept of regression. Now, what is regression? The meaning of regression is relation between input and output. Is this clear, everyone? What is the meaning of regression? Regression means it's a relationship between input and output. Now, in the regressions, what are we trying to do is we are trying to predict the output based on inputs. Okay. Here we are trying to predict an actual number. So in regression, we will always predict a number here, right? It's a predicted number, But the point is, in regression, we always predict numbers. Unlike in our data pre-processing example, this was an example which we used it for data pre-processing, right? Here we are predicting the type, whether he's going to buy or whether he's not going to buy. Correct? Here we are not predicting the number here. So what we were predicting was a type, a class. So that's why this problem, to solve this particular problem, we cannot use regression. Regression is used to predict what? Numbers and not the types. Is that clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Sorry for that. Perfect. So in regression, there are multiple techniques. Let's say I want to predict a number, right? So there's not just one method, but there are many methods to predict that numbers. And we are going to see one, that is simple linear regression. Second, multiple linear regression. Then polynomial regression, support vector regression, decision tree regression, and random forest regression. So total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going to see 6 techniques for regression. Is that clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm? So we are going to explore overall 6 techniques. We are starting with the first technique, that is simple linear regression. We are starting with the first technique now. What is the name of the first technique? It is called as simple linear regression. So in this technique, there is only one input and one output. All right. So what happens in simple linear regression is, based on a single input, we will try to predict the output. Is this clear, everyone? So remember, in simple linear regression, there is only one input, and based on that one input, we are going to predict the output. I just see response from Maithili Amayashu. Derek, is this clear? Perfect. Now, that's the reason it is called simple. So simple is because there is only one input, one output. Now, what do you mean by linear? So here we are assuming, remember this is an assumption, okay, that the relation between input and output is a linear relation. Linear relation means if one grows, let's say by X units, other will also grow by X units. Is this clear, everyone? What do you mean by linear? If one grows by, let's say, 2 times, the other thing will also go by 2 times. The point here I'm trying to tell you is, if input increases 2 times, the output will also increase by 2 times. So that's the linear relationship. Is this clear? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, guys? I just see 2 response. Perfect. Simple is because there is only one input, one output. Linear is because there is an assumption here, okay, that the input and output are linearly dependent. And regression because we are trying to predict a number. Okay. Now this relationship between input and output is given by a mathematical formula called y is equal to mx plus c. Have you seen this mathematical formula before in your school? What is this? This is an equation of line. Correct? What is this? Y is equal to mx plus c. Yes, it's an equation of line and m is the slope. That's correct, Derek. M is the slope. What this function is saying is that the output y is dependent on input x. But what is the relation between input and output? That output is dependent on m times the x plus some constant. And in fact, this is the mathematical formula which is used in our simple linear regression to predict the output. To predict the output y based on some input x, right? The mathematical formula used here is y is equal to mx plus c. And this is nothing but my simple linear regression technique. Is this clear? Can you guys quickly confirm it on the chat window? Perfect. So let's do this. To perform simple linear regression technique, we will consider this following data set. So we have a data set which is basically an experience versus salary. So what this data set is telling us, based on experience, what will be the salary of an employee? Now here there are a few assumptions that we need to understand. The assumption first is that this data is related to one specific job only. All right. If you're talking, so let's assume that this data is related to the IT jobs. Right. So the prediction here is valid only for the IT jobs based on this data. We cannot use this prediction or use this model to do the prediction of some other domain jobs, right? Let's say for commerce or banking, right? We cannot use this data. For that, there is going to be a different data, different relation between years and experience. Right now, what we see here data is based on a particular domain. So, right, so there we have assumed that this domain is IT domain. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Perfect. So we are going to read this data now. After reading data, we are going to perform pre-processing. So let me do this. I will quickly upload this data to Edmodo. I'm expecting you guys to download this data from edmodo.com and at least perform the data pre-processing step and keep it ready. Is that fine, everyone? I'm going to upload this data to Edmodo now. You guys are going to download this data now, and you guys are going to finish till data pre-processing step. I see only Maithili, Amay, and Ashu are part of this. Derek, what's your email ID? Can you quickly paste it? I'll invite you immediately to join this group. Or you can use this code. I hope you are aware of edmodo.com, right, Derek? Can you confirm if you are aware of edmodo.com? Perfect. Just join this code, or let me see if I can share it to you. Huh. Please join this group, Derek. I have added you, your email address. I've sent you an invitation. All right. So let me go here under machine learning. I'm creating a new folder, calling it as regression. Under regression, I'm going to create another folder. I will call it as SLR, that is simple linear regression. And here I'll upload the data set. Done. So please download this at your end and perform the data pre-processing step and keep it ready. So right now it's 3:56. I'll give you 10 minutes to finish this task. Right? Is that enough? 10 minutes? Is this enough? 10 minutes? Or you need more time? Guys, please let me know on the chat window. Is 10 minutes sufficient? Okay, I just got one response. Okay, thanks, Derek. All right, so I'll give you 10 minutes to finish this. Right now it's 3:56. We will resume again at 4:06. Once you have completed the task, please type completed on the chat window. Okay. Once you have completed a task, please type a message, that completed or done message, on the chat window. A quick reminder, only 5 minutes left. What is the message? Getting salary data file not found. Ashu, you're getting this error in the program? Ashu, you there? Are you getting this error in the program? Just make sure that your program file and your data file are in the same location.
So they're
Is my
in the
voice
same
audible?
location.
Sorry, come again, Ashu.
So they're in the same location.
Okay, then we'll take a look at it. Derek, let me see if I can send this file through WhatsApp. Okay, I got a request now. Derek, now you should be able to download the file. All right. Ashok, the problem is your working directory, right? You haven't set the working directory correctly. It should be regression SLR,
Oh, okay, okay, sir.
right? That should solve the problem. Sure, Vaitili, we'll wait for another 1 minute. What about Amey? Were you able to solve the problem? Perfect. All right, guys, let's continue. Now see here, in this particular scenario, so let me first clear the console and remove the variables. I'll first set my working directory to regression, simple linear regression. Then I'll make sure that I have a data set available here, which is salary underscore data.csv. Then I'll create a new file. I will save this file in the same directory where my data set is available. So my data set is present inside simple linear regression directory. So here I'm going to create a file. I'll call it as slr.py. First step is to import the library called pandas and read the data set. So I'll say import pandas as pd, and I'll say dataset is equal to pd.read csv, and inside this I will pass the name of the file, which is salary as capital underscore data d capital.csv. Let me quickly run this, select, control enter, and in my variable explorer I see dataset. Done. Now next I need to divide the data in two parts, x and y. So x is what? Index 0, and y is what? Index 1. So I'll say x is equal to dataset.ilocation dot values. I will divide my dataset.ilocation in two parts with the help of comma. Left hand side of comma is rows, right hand side of comma is columns. From this I need to read all the rows, but from columns I need to read only column 0. So I'll say 0:1. I'll select this, I'll hit enter, control enter. That becomes my variable x. Then I'll do the similar thing for variable y. So y is equal to dataset dot ilocation square bracket dot values, comma, left hand side of comma is rows. I need to read all the rows, and from columns I'm going to read column index 1, and I'll say till 2. 2 is exclusive, so it will not consider second index. Select Control enter. Done. So I got variable X. I have variable Y now. Now let's observe the data set. First of all, the first step that we saw in data preprocessing was imputer. Imputer was to handle missing values in inputs. Are we having any missing values in input? Can you quickly tell me on the chat window? Are we having any missing data in input? I see one answer from Amay, that is no, there are no missing values. What about others? Thanks Maithili, thanks Ashu. What about Derek? Derek, is my voice audible? Can you quickly confirm it? Perfect. So there are no missing values in my data set. That's a good news, right? That means we don't have to apply imputer step. Let's move on to the next step of data preprocessing. What was it? Label encoding, right? And why we are doing label encoding? To handle categorical informations. Do we have any categorical data in our data set? I just got 2 response. Ashu, Derek. Perfect. Right, so we don't have categorical information. That means I don't have to apply label encoding. Since there is no label encoding, logically I don't even have to apply one-hot encoding. Now let's talk about dummy value trap. Since we are not applying one-hot encoding, there is no need of applying dummy value trap as well, right? Next step is what? Feature scaling. Do we need to perform feature scaling in this example? I'm only seeing one response. Do we need to apply feature scaling? Okay, I see Maithili has said no. Ashu has said no. Derek and Amay has said yes. Amay, why do you think we need to apply feature scaling here?
Because there is a vast difference between the two values, like two attributes. Input and output have a vast difference. So for the linear regression, I think so we require to apply.
Okay. And who else said yes? Derek. Derek, why do you think we need feature scaling in this example?
So same reason, sir.
Okay. Let me now ask Maithili. Why do you think we don't need feature scaling in this example?
So because we perform it on the independent set, and here we just have one variable, and
okay.
So we don't have.
All right. And who else said no? Ashu. Ashu, why do you think we don't need to perform here feature scaling? Ashu, you there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you have said no, we don't need to perform feature scaling. Why?
So because the salary value is directly dependent on the years of experience.
Okay. So
and years of experiences are X and salary is Y.
all right. So salary is column Y, years of experience is X.
Yes, sir.
All right. So guys, remember here even if you apply feature scaling, it's of no use. See, you do feature scaling only for input variables, so that all the input variables are in the same scale. All right. In this particular example, we have only one input variable, which is year of experience. So even if you do feature scaling, it's of no use. Is this clear, everyone? We do feature scaling only on input variable. Here there is only one input variable, right? So that's the reason there is no need to perform feature scaling. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window?
Yes, sir.
I see yes from Ashu, yes from Amay. What about others? The reason is there is only one input variable. Even if we do feature scaling on that one input variable, we are not going to achieve anything out of it. Feature scaling are performed with input variables. When there are multiple input variables, at that time we need to bring all the variables at the same level. If you recollect our data preprocessing step, we did feature scaling for country, age, and salary. We didn't apply feature scaling on output Y. Is this clear? Can you guys quickly confirm it on the chat window? I see response from Ashu, Amay, Derek. What about Maithili? Perfect. So that means done, right? Just with this two statement, pre-processing was already done. Now next step is to apply simple linear regression. All right. So simple linear regression, like I said earlier, is nothing but an equation of line. Right? So to apply simple linear regression in Python, we are going to take the help of sklearn library. It's a new library, right? And I have requested you guys to maintain a list of libraries in your last page of the notebook. Is that correct? Are you guys maintaining the list of libraries in the last page of your notebook? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, guys? Perfect. So now I request you guys to please go to your last page and make a new entry. Okay. Have you already added sklearn? Have you already added sklearn definition in your last page? Okay, I just see one response from Maithili. What about others? All right, perfect. So let's do this. Go back to your last page and make an entry of a new library called sklearn. Mention that sklearn is scientific kit-learn library. sklearn is a scientific kit-learn library, or you can also call it as scikit, S-C-I-K-I-T. All right, sklearn is a scientific kit library. It has various machine learning algorithms and data preprocessing algorithms support. Done? Has everybody noted it down? Perfect. I just see only one response. What about others? Perfect. So in sklearn, we are having a library called as linear regression. So let me import it. So from sklearn dot linear model. So in sklearn, we have a library called linear. Sorry, my bad. In sklearn, we have a library called as linear model. And inside this linear model, we have a library called as linear regressor. So we need to import that. All right. See here, this is a new library. So go back to your last page and make an entry, linear regression. Please make an entry called as linear regression. Linear regression is a library available in sklearn.linear model. linear regression is a library available in sklearn.linear model. This library allows us to perform linear regression technique that is to find relation between input and output for a linear data set. Have you guys noted this down? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? I'm seeing only 2 response, Maithili and Ashu and Rick. Thanks. All right. So let's see how to use this. So first, what are we going to do is we are going to take the help of this help section, and in this help section, I'm going to paste the complete name of the library. So the complete path of the library is sklearn.linear regression. So this is the complete path. So I'm creating a complete path here. I'll select this, cut. I'm selecting the help tab. In the help tab, I'm making sure that under the source, I'm having console. And in the object, I will paste it. And I hit enter. So you can see here, the technique used by linear regression is nothing but ordinal least square. That is nothing but your equation of line. See here, it has something called as normalize. Default is false. So if you remember, I told you that we need to perform feature scaling, and perform feature scaling, there are 2 techniques. One is standard scalar and one is normalization. The best part of this linear regression library is that, let's say we forgot to do feature scaling for an input variable X. Then just come to this library and mention this parameter to true. What this parameter will do, it will automatically perform the feature scaling for us. But the technique used here will be normalization. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? So linear regression library supports normalization. All you have to do is just turn it on. Right? In that case, even if you don't do the feature scaling for your input variable X, linear regression library will do it for you. All right. Let's explore this further. See here, it has variable copy X. By default, it is true. So it works on a separate copy of X, which is fine for us. We don't have to worry about it. Then fit intercept, by default value is true. Again, we don't have to worry about this parameter. Regarding this n jobs, this we will be doing it if you are doing it a parallel processing. Okay, so this you generally set this variable when you are doing this program in Hadoop framework. And that's it. So let's now use this. So to use a linear regression library, which is a machine learning library, which is part of sklearn, we have to perform 3 steps. What are those 3 steps? First is create the object. Second is fit. And third is predict. Remember, unlike this step, pre-processing step, where we were doing create the object, fit and transform. When we are using any machine learning algorithm library, which is from sklearn, we'll be doing 3 steps, and those 3 steps are create the object, fit the object, and predict the object. Sorry, predict method. Is this clear? What are the 3 steps? First is create, second fit. Here fit means learn. Fit means learn. And third one is predict. Any doubts so far? You guys, please let me know in the chat window if you have any doubt or concern till this point. Perfect. Let's move on. Step for creating object is simple. We'll simply say SLR, that is object, is equal to linear regression. Done. Now to fit, we will say SLR dot fit. Fit on what? We need to provide both the things, input as well as output. Why? Because in this case, fit is not identified. Here fit means learn the relation between input and output. Let me change this. I accidentally wrote it as SRL, the object which we created on SLR. So I've changed it now to SLR. Is this clear, everyone? So in this case, whenever you are using machine learning algorithms, fit method means learn. That is, it is going to learn the relationship between input and output. So that's why we need to pass both the variables, SLR dot fit x comma y. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Perfect. Now for prediction, we need a new data, right? For to do any prediction, we are going to do a prediction on new data. Do you guys agree with me on this part? The prediction will be performed on new data. So here we are going to ask the user to enter the new data. So we'll say experience, new experience data is equal to float input, enter the experience. So we are asking this to the user to enter the data that will capture it on new experience. And we need to pass this to SLR dot predict function. So the predict function, it receives the new information, right? It will receive what? New data. Is that clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, guys? We are going to pass this new experience information to the predict function, which is a part of SLR. And what is SLR? It is simple linear regression object. But there is one catch here. We cannot directly pass new experience. No, that's not allowed. Why? Because SLR has learned on X. So it is expecting the input parameter should be of type X. Right now at line number 22, the type of this variable will be float, a regular float. But this variable, it's not variable, but this object SLR, which is your machine learning model, it has learned on X and Y, right? So input variable X. So it is expecting whenever you are passing a new variable, it should be of same data type, which is of X. The data type of X you can see here is float array. Let me run this line number 22. Select, control enter. I'll enter some experience value, let's say 2.7. Check what the data type of float, what is the data type of experience? It is float, and it's not an array. It's a single float variable. But data type of X is what? It's a two-dimensional array. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? What is the problem here? Why we cannot directly pass new experience variable inside SLR? Yeah. Can you confirm it now, guys? I just added a marker for my reference. I see a response from Ashu Amai Maitri. Derek? Derek, am I audible? Perfect. So I have to convert this into two-dimensional. So see here what I'm doing it. I'll say new x square bracket all right, then I'll say new experience, so new x dot append new experience. Now if I execute these two lines, sorry, my bad, control enter, let me select it, control enter. So you can see now my new x is converted into the list, but what I need is a list of list. This is a list of list, two dimension, right? So now final new experience is equal to empty list final new experience dot append new x. Okay, but I need it as a float. Okay, let's try this and I'll pass it here. One second, I'll convert this to this particular data type. So x dot shape. Okay, x is a tuple, not a list. So I'll have to convert this to tuples. It's a tuple, have to provide an additional comma. Done. And now let me run the program from the beginning. And 7 SLR.predict there you go. So see, it has predicted me this salary. Is this step clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Actually, we don't need list of list. Actually, we need a tuple, a two-dimensional data set. So you can see here the variable x, right, is of type float and it's a tuple, two-dimensional tuple. We need this data set, final new x, also in the same format. So now if you check this type of x, so if you do type of variable x, it says, okay, it's giving me numpy.array type of final new x, it's a tuple. So we need this data set in the same format. I guess this will work on my machine because I am using the sklearn version 0.18. But when you guys are going to run it, it will throw you an error saying that it needs it in the same format. So whatever the format of variable x is, we need to convert it into the same format. Just try this out at your end. So here I was just trying to convert it into the array. So it looks like I should have converted it into an array, but not as a float. This particular lines work on my machine because I'm using 0.18 version of sklearn. I have seen that when you are using the higher versions of sklearn, this predict function will throw you an error. So we need to convert this input value, that is new experience, into the same format of x. And the format of x is numpy.array. So I should have actually converted into an array and not float tuple. Just try this at your end and let me know. Okay, so Maithili, this line number 22, it creates a new tuple. So whenever you have to create a tuple, you'll be using round brackets. Okay, so let's say I want to create a tuple 1, 2, 3. So this is a tuple. So if I assign a variable, let's say I'm assigning a variable tup 1, 2, 3, the type of tup is tuple. But when you are having only one value in tuple, let's say new tup is another variable. When you are having only one value in tuple, then you have to use comma here. If you don't use comma, it will treat this as your regular variable. So you can see new tup, it is treating it as an integer. It's not as a tuple because we have only one value. So if we are having only one value and we want to create a tuple out of it, we just have to put here comma, and then it converts new tup into data type tuple. What is a tuple? Tuple is similar to the list. It is a collection of information. The only difference between tuple and list is in list we can keep on adding the new elements, but in tuple we cannot add new elements. Tuple is a constant. Once it's created, done. We cannot modify it again. Does that answer the question, Maithili? What is a tuple? Tuple is a collection of elements, which is similar to the list. The major difference between list and tuple is once a tuple is created, we cannot modify it. Derek, can you quickly take a screenshot and send it over? So you'll get an error because your data type of new x is not, sorry, data types of final new x is not same as array. Yeah, I'll show that. I just need to see the screenshot of it. I want to see what exact error is giving it to, and then I will convert it at my end. Can someone please send me the screenshot? Okay. Let me bring that screenshot in front of you, everyone. So I'm sending the screenshot that has been sent to me. I'll send it in a group. I'm requesting everyone to please open that screenshot. Has everybody received this screenshot in the group? Okay. So here if you see, it is telling you the reason. It is expecting a two-dimensional array. Right? And what it has got is one dimension instead. And this has come. So when did you got this error? Who have forwarded me the screenshot? Was it Derek or Ashwame? Who was it? I think Derek forwarded me the mail. So Derek, when did you got this error? That is when you executed line number 28. Which one? Derek, when did you got this error? When you executed the line number 28? Okay. So if you check, okay, is it possible for you to share the screen, Derek? I'll make you a host and then you can share your screen. Oh, okay. You're using mobile. All right. Let me do this. I'll try to convert this into the same format that you guys are receiving it, right? So I'll say here, type of variable x is numpy.endArray. So I need to import now numpy library. So import numpy as np. All right. Then I'll go here, say import numpy as np, and I'll say help on np. In this numpy library, if you scroll up, you will see here examples on how to create the arrays. All right. You'll find examples on how to create the arrays. Just check here, the array which we need is in this format. Right? Multiple rows, one column. Here there are multiple rows and there are 3 columns, but instead of this, we need only multiple rows but 1 column. Is this clear, everyone? So let's try to create this. Sorry, let me go back. So I'll copy these 2 lines. I'll paste it here. So I'll say np.arrange. We need 1 element, 1 row, 1 column. All right, this is my small variable x. Sorry, my bad. Let's go back to the example. See, I'm showing you the entire approach, how I'm going to convert it into the expected output, right? So let me do this. I will directly copy this line, that is create an array. Paste. I'll get rid of these lines. See here, and I'll simply write here new exp. New experience is the variable which is having a data, right? That is 2.7. I'm putting it inside an array. It's not defined. It's np dot array square new exp square close. Done. So I'll say my final, this final, I'll say np dot array round bracket and then square new exp as a variable that we took. So I don't need this anymore. Let me execute this line number 29, F9. Now my final data, you can see it is in the same format, which is of X, and then you can pass it here. You can say final new experience. Now select this, execute it, and see it will show you the result. So here you can assign it to predicted salary is equal to this. Now can you guys try this at your end? I think this should solve the problem. This is with the new versions of sklearn. Can you guys try it now? Let me paste this 3 lines of code. Just try this and let me know if it works. It should work now because now the data type of final new X is same as that of your input variable X. Yeah, Amaya has confirmed that it's working. What about others? What about others? Ashu? Yeah, thanks for confirming it. Maithili, Derek, is it working now? Yeah, thanks, Derek. What about Maithili? Is this working now at your end? Sure, no worries. You use reshaped X. Can you paste your code, Derek? Derek, will you please paste your code on the chat window so that we can take a look? Yeah, thanks, Maithili, for confirming it. Derek, requesting you to please paste the code on the chat window here on Zoom chat. Oh, I think you are using mobile, right? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you are reshaping. Okay, so what you are doing here, Derek, is at your X value, right? You are reshaping it back to 1 minus 1 comma 1. So that will convert it into a single dimension. And then you are training that linear regression model with that single dimension data. This program will work on this program only because there is only one variable here. But what if you have multiple variables, multiple input variables? In that case, this might not work, right? So it's better you use this approach where you convert the new data into a format that is expected by X. Is that clear, Derek? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
Maithili has raised a question. What is the use of NumPy library? So Pandas library is used to read data from dataset. NumPy library is a huge library which allows us to perform various operations on the data, right? Which allows us to do various manipulations on the data. Like say I have to create an array, so I can use NumPy library. So to create array in Python, we use NumPy library. So to create two-dimensional array in Python, we use NumPy library. Right? So NumPy library is mainly for data manipulation. All right. I hope everybody are clear with the steps of line number 25, 26, and 27. Can you guys quickly confirm it on the chat window, please? If you guys are clear with line number 25, 26, and 27. I see a response. I see a response from Ashu, Derek, Maithili. What about Amay? Are you clear with the steps 25, 26, and 27? Line number 25, 26, 27? Perfect. All right. So that's it. We have written our first machine learning program, right? Which is learning on data. See here, we are learning on an entire data and is doing a prediction on the new data. Let's try to compare the output, right? So this is my input variable X. This was my original output. We are trying to predict for 2.7 and 2.7 it has predicted salary is 51,307. So 2.7 is between row 4 and 5 and you can see between index 4 and 5 it is predicting us the predicted value is between 39,000 and 56,000. Right? So I can conclude this that it is a good prediction. Right? So 2.7, I was expecting it to be between 2.2 and 2.9. And the predicted value is also between the expected salary of 2.2 and 2.8. So I can conclude this as a very good machine learning model. So please remember here, the data which I gave you, right? It was a linear data. It actually had a linear relationship between both this variable X and Y. And that's why the predicted answer is correct. If this data was not linear, if there was no linear dependency, then your simple linear regression will not work. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window? Okay, I got response from Derek, Ashu, Amay. What about Maithili? Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you this another data set. And you guys are going to try this as a homework. So I'm going to give you the data sets from multiple linear regression. Let me give you a brief overview of this data set. So here you can see there are multiple inputs. We have research and development, administration, marketing spend, state, and profit. Now what I want you guys to do is to perform a simple linear regression between R&D and profit. Then you will perform a simple linear regression between administration and profit. And then you will perform a simple linear regression between marketing spend and profit. Is the assignment clear, guys? Is the assignment clear? You are going to perform SLR between, first assignment is R&D and profit. Second assignment is between administration and profit. And third assignment is between marketing and profit. And you will try to predict the profit for an input. Let me give you an input as well. One, two, three, four, five, six. This is our input value. Right? So you'll tell me the prediction for this input value. First, consider this input value for R&D. Then consider this input value for as a marketing spend. Sorry, as an administration, and then for marketing spend. Is this clear, everyone? Can you quickly confirm it on the chat window, please? C21. It's a value. They have not spent any money on marketing spend. So this company, each row here is actually a company. This company has spent this much amount in R&D, has spent this much amount in administration, and has spent zero amount in marketing. So that's not a missing value, or it's not an NaN. It is actually a original value 0. Perfect. All right, then we'll stop here. We'll end today's session here. We'll regroup again in our next session. In meantime, I'm expecting you guys to please complete this assignment. If you face any issues, do let me know. Right? Drop me a message on WhatsApp, and then we'll address it. All right. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for dialing in. I'll be sharing the video after a couple of hours. All right. Thanks everyone.